guys, so today I'm going to be showing you this look. It is kind of a neutral smoky eye, and I'm just going to give you some tips and tricks on how to make your makeup last longer and look better and be more vibrant. You can look at the description below to see all the products and an explanation of all the tips, and let's get right into the video. So I went ahead and primed my eyelids, and I also did my eyebrows. Now I'm going to be using this tape to create a line for my eyeshadow. I'm just going to place it at the angle I want. I'm going to be doing the same thing on the other side. Next I'm going to be taking this Wet n Wild brush in my Makeup Revolution Death by Chocolate palette. This transition shade. I'm just gonna buff this into my crease and also blend it in with this brush. Now I always like to take a more concentrated brush, like this Urban Decay brush. This is the shorter side of it. I'm going to be taking these two shades, this more warm brown and darker brown. So first I'm going to start with the warmer brown. Maybe we grew up on the wrong street with the wrong name, with the different. Then I'm going to be using the darker brown in the corner and then into the crease. Then for the lid, I love to use this lid lacquer from NYX, and I just use like a small amount and dab it onto my eyelid in the area where the other colors are not. And this just helps the eyeshadow really stay on and show up better. Next, I'm going to be taking this flat brush and this sparkly goldish color, but if you want it to show up even more, you can spray the brush.
I just gotta say, I'm so happy you're alive.
See, this shows up pretty good. And I'm just going to be doing the same thing on the other eye. Then I'm going to be taking the same crease brush and just blending what's left on it. Then I'm going to be using this sparkly dark brown in the corner, as well as this in the far outer corner, which is a nice black. I'm also going to be using this flat Wet n Wild brush with the brown.
And then adding more of that other lid shade and taking the other brush and blending them together. I'm going to be then using this L'Oreal brush to put black in the outer corner. I'm going to kind of wing it out and then bring it back to the crease. Who would have thought we won't be married by now? We've been true lovers since high school. And then I'm going to blend with this brush and the transition shade. Then I'm going to be taking the other side of this Urban Decay brush with this NYX Roll-On Shimmer, and that's just in the inner lid. Last but not least, I'm going to be doing a brow highlight. So I'm going to be taking the same brush and this shimmery nude color. I'm just brushing this under the brows on both sides. And those are the eyes. I'm going to do the eyeliner off camera.
And I would just make sure that this doesn't get in your mouth. To make this primer work, you have to blow dry it. So I'm gonna blow dry it on eye.
In capital letters.
So as you can see, it's kind of hard to tell, but it creates like a mask on your face. And this is just a nice base for foundation. So I'm going to be using this e.l.f. BB cream in the shade Buff. And this does not have a lot in it. I'm running out of it. So I'm going to use this hack of using a Slurpee straw to get the foundation out. So as you can see, this has gotten like even more foundation than I would need for today. So I'm gonna take a Wet n Wild foundation brush and just put all that foundation that I scooped out onto it. And just spread this all over my face.
You think that you're sick when you're running it. Now you're bailing on my line like an ambulance. Safe, I'm I'm done with it. No 999, no emergency. Baby, nah, no, I am into you. I'ma block you soon, you're a bugaboo, baby.
And they actually have a product that is identical to this, but a little more sturdy, which is $20, but I prefer using this cheaper alternative because it is basically free. Now that I've applied this foundation, I'm gonna use a makeup sponge to blend it, and I'm gonna use just some water from the same spray bottle and just spray it. And I'm just gonna dab and blend this.
Hold up, wait, hear me now. And Beyonce said irreplaceable. I was holding out this, taking your dish. You was that mother, what you gave me for. Now you're stressed out cause you needed me.
So it looks pretty blended out now. Now I'm going to be taking my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer, and I'm just gonna be concealing like I would normally do. With a damp makeup sponge, I'll be blending this in. Next, I'm going to be using this All About Glow palette that is actually from Marshall's, and this is a very cheap way to have a lot of different contour options. And this has a lot of darker shades, lighter shades, even like a highlight shade. So I'm going to be using this shade. I'm going to be using my Wet n Wild contour brush and just adding some on here. Contouring my cheekbones and up to my forehead and the sides. And then I'm also going to be taking this more cool tone bronzer for my nose contour. I'm using the same brush.
Hanging out with the fireflies, yeah. Oh, I didn't come for love.
Then I don't want this to be too dark or dramatic, so I'm just gonna blend it in. This Lauren Geller blush in Pink Grapefruit. And I'm just blending that in a little. Next, I'm going to be using this Wet n Wild Photo Focus powder, and this is in warm beige. For this, I'm going to be taking this powder brush by Wet n Wild and just putting this on my nose, on my chin, and on my forehead, which is basically the T-zone where I get more oily.
Got myself running back to you.
Next, I'm going to be baking my skin with this Coty Airspun powder in translucent. And I think that this is a must for really making your contour pop. So I usually just put some in the cap. And then I'm going to be taking this smaller makeup sponge and just putting this under my eyes.
Running back to you, running back to you, running back to you.
This kind of lightens your under eyes. And then I'm going to be using it under the contour. And then to highlight my nose, I'm just putting it in the middle. And this is also good to cover up any imperfections. Then while my baking powder is setting, I like to use an eyelash curler to curl my lashes. And just hold this for a few seconds. And then I'm going to be using this Jeremiah FAQ mascara.
Here I am, holding on. Here I am, and you're gone.
And then I'm going to be doing the same thing on the other eye.
To leave the party, don't know when it's time to go, when it's clear to everybody.
And a hack I have for mascara is using these little mascara wand combs. These came in a pack from Ulta, and they have them in lots of different shapes. I think you can also put this in your mascara and apply your mascara that way, but I just like to comb out any clumps with these. This just really makes your mascara look less clumpy and altogether better. I'm going to be taking this big fan brush and dusting off all the baking powder. So as you can see, it lightened my under eyes. It also kind of deepened the contour. Next, I'm going to be using this more pointed beauty blender or makeup sponge with some water. And water really helps your highlight stay on and show up more. I'm going to be taking this smaller fan brush from Wet n Wild and this Makeup Revolution Ultra Cool Glow palette, making sure it's wet under there. And I'm going to be using this gold shade. I just think the highlight really shows up and pops out when you put water underneath. My last step is lips. So I'm going to be taking this Burt's Bees Hydrating Lip Balm and putting that underneath my lipstick because I think that helps your lips be moisturized during the day. I'm going to be taking this MAC matte lipstick in the color Please Me. This is just a nice rosy pink color. And especially with a matte lipstick like this, the lip balm actually helps it hydrate your lips. And you can really use any lip balm. Then to make this makeup stay and look nice all day long, I'm going to be using just water in the same spray bottle. And you can use a setting spray, but I feel like water also does the trick. So all the tips that I used were for eyeshadow, always using a primer, always setting it with the setting powder, and then most importantly using something like the NYX lid lacquer to make sure that the lid shows up properly, or using a concentrated brush to really define the crease, and also using tape to make a nice line and make the eyeshadow in a nice shape. Then for primer, I like using the Milk of Magnesia because it's very cheap. It is like $5 and it gives you like 10 times what you would get in a little primer. For foundation, you should use a Slurpee straw or some kind of scooping tool so that you can use all of the foundation that is in the bottle and you don't have to run out of foundation as easily. Then for concealer, less is really more, and you should only put it in the areas where you really need it because it kind of makes your face more heavy if you use a lot of it. Then contour, there's a lot of cheap contour products that will give you a lot of different shades. For setting powders, I always like to bake, and for that I like to use a small makeup sponge just so you can really get into the areas that you're putting it. For mascara, I like to always curl my eyelashes first and then use some kind of a mascara wand comb so that there's no clumps left over. For highlighter, it's always good to put water on a makeup sponge so that it really shows up better. And lastly, for lipstick, I like to put chapstick underneath a matte lipstick or even under any other kind of lipstick just to hydrate your lips and keep them more moisturized during the day. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you like this look and I hope I gave you some tips and tricks. Please watch my last video and subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.